Which consumable is the strongest for a DPS? Short answer, ginseng meat stew. Long answer, this entire video. I've read in some discussions that Jakob's Legacy is the strongest consumable, while some argued that Kunsttube is the strongest because it provides damage percent increase, which usually overshadows attack percent increase. For context, Jakob's Legacy gives 27% attack increase, while Kunsttube gives 25% damage increase. In Endfield, attack percent and damage percent provide the same DPS increase. So in a vacuum, Jakob's Legacy usually wins against Kunsttube, simply because it gives 2% higher stats. Ginseng Meat Stew, on the other hand, gives 180 flat attack and 11% critical chance increase. Two stats that are under people's radar because, 1, flat attack is typically considered a trash stat in other games, and 2, there are guides out there saying that, currently, critical stats are underwhelming or straight up bad. So which is it? Starting with flat attack stat. In Endfield, there are two types of attack percent boosts. One comes from the operator's main and secondary stats, and the other is the general attack percent boost. While flat attack isn't added to an operator's base attack stat, it is still multiplied by the attack percent boost coming from the main and secondary stats. For example, if we go to the operator menu and open the stats menu, you can check how much attack bonus the operator's stats give. In my Ember's case, she has a plus 385%, which can be applied to flat attack increase. Meanwhile, general attack percent boosts do not apply to flat attack stats. In my Ember's case, she has 15% attack boost from her 3-piece set effect, and this will not apply to flat attack stats. We can test if this is accurate in-game. Giving Ember a ginseng meat stew, her attack became 5,408. If her 3-piece set effect actually applied, it should have been 5,539 instead. So how does ginseng meat stew compare to Jakob's Legacy? If we give Ember Jakob's Legacy, her attack reaches 5,600. Jakob's Legacy provides 3.5% higher DPS than ginseng meat stew. However, there is still an 11% critical chance increase from ginseng meat stew. Considering we have a 50% critical damage base, 11% critical chance can be easily converted into a 5.5% DPS increase. So, theoretically, ginseng meat stew is roughly 2% better. There are two other factors you can take into account that makes ginseng meat stew better. Both flat attack and critical chance increase are rare stats, making them suffer less from diminishing returns. Attack percent boost, on the other hand, can have a lot of other sources, making the returns diminish faster. When taking into account a team setup with plenty of buffs, the gap between ginseng meat stew and Jakob's Legacy can grow to up to 3% or more. Lastly, ginseng meat stew is way easier to farm for. Speaking of farming ginseng meat stew, here's some tips to farming them efficiently. First, you want to get some ginseng seed. The easiest way to get them is to buy from Wellmorin, an NPC near Wuling City's farm area. If you can't wait for Wellmorin to restock ginseng seeds, you can also put random ginseng you picked up into seed-picking units. If you need more ginseng, you can get 2 from one area in Jingyu Valley. Teleport into the TP point below Treasure Grotto. You can find 2 ginseng right below the ancient tree nearby. Once you have ginseng seeds, open your backpack and click on crafting. Switch to the planting tab and find the red jade ginseng plot. If you lack carbon to craft it, go to your Zeronite production line and snipe some carbon from the belts. Just to be safe, take 20 carbon and craft 20 plots. Now go to the farm area and start placing the plots. You can set it up the way you want, but I personally suggest following this setup. It makes your AI teammates less likely to get stuck somewhere while helping you out. Make sure there are sprinklers because ginseng needs to be watered every 4 hours. The sprinklers automatically do that for you, which means you only need to visit your farm every 12 hours to gather ginseng. You can place up to 20 plots in the farm, so it's up to you if you want it all to be ginseng plots or a mix with other plants. Finally, you'd want a good route on farming fillet. The second item needed to cook ginseng meat stew. You can do this in the power plateau starting from the TP point near the trunkway. I marked the areas where you can hunt some wild beasts. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one.